Hey everybody, Tom Barnes, stories from the 78. And Chicago's known for many things. And yes, sometimes eye roll at what we're known for, but pizza is a crown that we wear proudly, I think, because I think we make the best pizza in the world. The debate goes on where it started, but we make it the best. And that's why there's a Pizza Summit, the fifth one. I have my friend Anthony here telling me all about it. How you doing, Anthony?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And I say, when Chicago's known for certain things, food, like the true Chicagoans, like, well, there's more than just, hot dogs and pizza in Chicago. We have all sorts of food, we have steakhouses and whatnot. But pizza is like that universal food that everybody has an opinion on, everybody loves. There's all kinds now. You have some for vegan, you have the old school kind, and it's a celebration of what that spirit of pizza is for this fifth annual Pizza Summit, right?
I mean, absolutely. And so that's one of my favorite things, when you really think about kind of the three pillars of the Chicago Pizza Summit, you're looking at the three core tenets of community, friendship, and dialogue. And those three things, I mean, you could be dropped into any neighborhood in Chicago and beyond, frankly, and say, hey, I'm new here. I've never been here. Where's your go to pizza spot? Next thing you know, you're probably talking for at least 15 to 20 minutes because it's going to be different every single time, too. And it's just so magical to see how pizza can really just bring people together. And that's the whole kind of ethos of the summit.
Right. And I think a bigger debate in Chicago, especially for old timer Chicagoans versus maybe, folks that maybe moved to the city, let's say in their 20s from another state or, far out reaches of the suburbs, deep dish or thin crust.
Well, totally. And this has actually been really cool to see it, over the last, I'd probably say, 8 years maybe, because, you have this kind of classic, Chicago deep dish. And, so you kind of forget that, like, there's so much that goes into not only the city of Chicago as a whole, that's why it makes it so dynamic, but also the pizza scene. The fact that we can literally be known, and again, this was a generational thing where, in the past, historically for deep dish, but then you're like, don't forget, tavern style also originated here. And you're like, wait, what? You have
Right. I
two
said
of
thin
the
crust. It's
greatest.
tavern style. Thank you for saying that because I felt
No,
like
no,
an
no.
idiot as soon as I said it. I was like,
No,
oh
no, no,
my
no,
gosh, I said thin
but
crust.
that's the great tavern style thin crust. I mean, interchangeable. It's great. I mean, and so that's the thing is you're like, wait a second, what? And so to see the emergence and really, again, kind of like it's always kind of flown under the radar a little bit, really sort of regain some of the spotlight. Again, it's classic tavern style. I mean, and that's the beautiful piece too, is that there's a time and a place for any pizza.
Right. And the tavern style has such a great story of how it became tavern style, like Home Run in Pizza has a great story, about the whole thing about attracting customers and giving pizza out because you're drinking beer and you want them to keep drinking beer. Like it's such a Chicago thing. And that's why this summit that you guys have this Sunday at the Royal Palms is such a fun event. It's for kids, it's for families. You have DJs, you have like Chicago specific merchants that are going to be there for exclusive stuff to run down the things and some of the highlight of the pizza joints in this that are going to be
So
going.
absolutely. And I mean, I think, the one thing too is I always go back to, what was really one of the biggest inspirations for Chicago Pizza Summit. And actually it's Vito and Nick's and Rose. And that was the big thing is that I remember the first time I ever walked into Vito and Nick's and I was like, wow. I mean, it was just you could feel it.
Oh
And
yeah.
this whole piece where you're like, okay, this is more than just, again, a place to get pizza. This is a living and breathing community center. And, the amount of hours that I've spent, I mean, just even someone just sitting there and just watching all the different people, come in. And again, you talk about, families, children. I mean, the generational context. I mean, it's just amazing. And so, that was always really the piece for Chicago Pizza Summit. And, it really is also, meant to be very fun, super inviting. There's no like VIP or anything like that. It's just one ticket price, all you can eat, and then 5 drink tickets. Again, that's alcoholic and non-alcoholic as well. And it's really just something that's meant to bring people together and just be very open and inclusive. So that's been cool. And then yeah, the real quick breakdown too is so yeah, after taking a short hiatus during the pandemic. I mean, we
Mhm.
started in 2016, and so it's been something that has been just an absolute labor of love. Every year, it's just been always great success and positive vibes, and we just keep it going. So we're excited to return. Especially at the new venue, Royal Palms Shuffleboard Club, which is like
Yeah.
it's big body shuffleboard in the middle of Wicker
It's a
Park. I
cool
mean, the
place
venue is
just for that.
awesome.
Yeah.
Totally. I mean, it's one of the most like, the whole staff and team over there, just so positive vibes, so fun. I mean, again, a community center, frankly. So that was kind of a no-brainer. And then, yeah, actually this year for the first time, we have 2 sessions. The first session we actually opened up to all ages. So
Yeah.
this whole
So
piece,
great.
that because historically it's been 21 plus, and it was kind of always like, oh, can we bring our kids and this and that. I was like, yeah, you know what? Let's do that. I mean, again, pizza is multi-generational, and that's the great thing. But yes, and so I mean, a couple things too that are just an absolute highlight, and this is the one, the kind of ethos of the summit is that you have this classic Chicago, and then you have this new school kind of emerging. Who's going to continue to grow and evolve the pizza community.
Mhm.
So we're debuting for the first time ever. Gino's East, and again, they've been at Summit since day one, a classic Chicago staple, and then Professor Pizza, who also has again been part of Summit since day one, and Professor's just, I mean, unbelievable. Frankly, not only just him as a human, but also his pizza. It's
Mhm.
unreal. So Gino's and Professor Pizza are coming together. Classic meets New School to debut their new collaboration pie. And for
That's
the first
awesome.
time ever. Yeah, so that's really exciting. We're gonna have a Giardiniera bar with Caruso's, which is awesome. Like we were just like, oh, we've never done this before. Yeah, and then again, just really a lot of great people coming together, a lot of great Chicagoans as well.
Yeah, so you have the ticket and you can eat as much pizza as you want with that ticket, which I think is awesome because for somebody like me, I can eat pizza every day. My heart probably wouldn't let me, but I definitely could. Get cut out there.
Yep. Oh, hear me? There we go. Good.
You're coming
So yeah,
almost
so
back.
that's the great
Yeah.
thing is that oh, good. Well, yeah, and that's the great thing is that we've grown this sequentially, year over year. But the big thing is that yeah, we always made sure we have enough pizza and that there's enough to go around, and it's been really favorable on that front. So absolutely, and then also some great drink partners, System Seltzers, Riot Pop. PBR, Rip It, Wines, Brella. We have Wana as well, which is a great partner this year, and yeah, really excited about just bringing people together. And also, World Business Chicago in 2112, showcasing some really great Chicago-based organizations in the CPG space. And Soothsayer Hot Sauce will be there. It's always the crowd favorite with
Yeah, get a
their
little crazy.
sauce. Yeah.
How many different pizza places will there be at the summit?
Yeah, so we're looking at around 10 different pizza partners. So,
That's
it's always
fantastic.
kind of the sweet spot, number. And again, just kind of north side, south side, a nice mixture of, again, some kind of classic spots, but then also looking at like, I mean, what Five Star's doing right now with their Detroit style, no brainer. I mean, Paper Plane's doing phenomenal. Yeah, I mean, just again, you Connies, Bacci. I mean, just a really nice mix of
Old school right
classic.
there.
Totally.
Yeah, you mentioned Vito and Nick's earlier, and I'm from the South Side, and I believe I went to Vito and Nick's after homecoming a couple times growing up. So it is definitely a community gathering space, especially for the South Siders. It's it's almost a pride thing too, especially for the South Side, because it's just the way the South Side is. Very proud of what we do down
Absolutely, and that's what I was saying. I mean, Vito and Nix is just I mean, it's a community center, and that's where it's like, oh yeah, I mean, this is hands down. If you want a true classic, timeless Chicago, tavern style experience, hands down Vito and Nix. Um, they also have some really, really awesome. I mean, like all the, I mean, their sausage is, amazing, right? And all the kind of classics, but they have some really interesting, kind of new school, offerings too, where it's like, huh, okay, that's cool. So
there. Yeah,
yeah,
they're still innovating.
totally. I mean, absolutely. I mean, that's the thing. It's like they're always moving forward. So I
And
love it.
yeah, the decor is amazing too. You got to you got to be there to believe it. But it's amazing, and this Pizza Summit sounds great. It's this Sunday, 2 sessions. People want tickets. What's the best way for them to do that?
Yep, absolutely. So if you go to it's on Bucket Listers. So that's where. And then also you can follow us on Instagram at Chicago Pizza Summit as well.
Awesome. Well, Anthony, we'll see you this Sunday for sure. Because sampling as much pizza as I can fit in my body, I will do that, and I will see you there. And until then, we'll happy have the great rest of the week.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. This has been awesome.